What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am back with another reaction video, and this time it's a getting to know you type of video. I have been so curious about Ronnie Radke. I have been diving down this rabbit hole since the moment I heard that first song, Popular Monster, which is still in rotation on my playlist today. Check out all my reactions to Falling in Reverse, but I have also done, like, I'm a big nerdy gamer, so, like, I love watching Ronnie Radke play video games and react to other reactors reacting to his music. I think that shit is super fun, and so I've been curious, more about, like, why he was in prison and some false accusations that were made and stuff, and so I'm hoping that this talk with Mr. Chris Jericho, and I picked this one because I think that's wrestling is fucking cool, and I love that he is doing like interviews and stuff. And so this is falling into Ronnie Radke on the Talk is Jericho, and let me pull this up here. Hold on. So it's only like 8 minutes and 14 seconds, but I'm hoping it's going to give me a little bit of insight into kind of you know, who Ronnie is and where he's coming from. I know that he is good friends with Tom McDonald, and, you know, Tom is the homie, so, like, I feel like if him and Tom are friends, then there's definitely got it, like, he got it out of the mud, and I want to know where and how and why and when and all the things. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it.
It's admirable you went through that, but it's also admirable to me that you were able to start Falling in Reverse while you were in prison. How the hell did you do that?
Yeah, so I would I'd play. That's how I made a lot of my songs. All the songs, couldn't sing really loud. I didn't want to annoy people, so I had to like kind of whisper it. So I had to get my voice back when I got out. I didn't know how to. I was like doing this instead of like belting.
Right.
I had to relearn all that.
You know, that's odd. I really actually never thought about it like that. That if you couldn't regularly use, I mean, I guess that would make sense, right? You don't regularly use your muscles, you're going to lose a lot of your strength and flexibility. So I guess that would make sense your voice too. I wonder what that journey back was like.
That, and that didn't take too long, but I wrote all the songs like that, like the, singing the guitar parts and stuff. I had all the time in the world, so I just write the lyrics. Thankfully, I know how to write songs, and I would keep them in my head. I'm so thankful for that, because a lot of people, they don't have that capacity, So I was very grateful for that.
Were you able to remember, because you couldn't record on anything, right?
Oh, I mean, I was doing it every day, over and over.
Gotcha.
So it's like, you do that every day for 2.5 years, you're gonna remember, Yeah, it's crazy.
So let me get this straight. He wrote a ton of songs while he was in prison, but he couldn't actually record them, so he literally just had to memorize them all?
Did you put together a lineup as well, or did you just have this idea of, here's the songs and I'll find guys to play with?
There's someone that was helping me that was out there, but he was he started getting a lot of attention, and I feel like that went to his head. So he didn't understand how to take that. But he started just letting people like join the band. I was like in prison. There's like 75 band members. That people are in the band. I don't,
You're right.
It was weird. But yeah, there was one guy named Jackie. He's very good at solos and stuff, and it kind of formulated in like that. And I got out, and I was so, oh my God, man, I couldn't go in public. It must have been a nightmare being in band with me. I couldn't do anything.
Because of your mental state.
Yeah, and I was aggressive too. I couldn't help it. I was super aggressive. Just hindsight is 2020.
I wonder if that was that because of his time in prison, or was that prior to, and it just kind of like festered over time? If you know, let me know.
I'll just tell you that for sure.
Did you know, like you said, you're in for 2.5 years. Did you know, like, okay, I'm getting out on, May 12th, or was it kind of like you had to go for probation, or how did that work?
I went for probation. They didn't let me out on probation. Thankfully, I'm glad they didn't, because they wouldn't let me leave. I just all my time. I was supposed to get out on my birthday, and they're so disgustingly mean in there that my release date was my birthday. They let me out the next day.
Oh yeah. Wow.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when once again, I'm not comparing because this is just my own little experience. I had a piece of
Sure, if it
paper and
was
I
like
was
that?
writing by the hour, like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Question
5,
mark?
you know, 6. And when I got to that 72nd hour, I was like, if I would have had to stay for another hour, I would have lost my fucking mind because I was counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 59, 60. It's 72 hours. Can I get out now? Can I get it now? Like I was just so
Yeah.
like,
Holy.
oh, that extra day must have felt like an eternity for you.
It was wild. Couldn't sleep. And you know that feeling, you know, when because they escort, you know, they're releasing you, you
Yeah.
get like
No,
uh
72 hours is much longer. It's like a
dopamine,
week, right?
like
Close.
it's indescribable. Like I
Mhm.
guess what I'm talking about. They roll it up, and they open the loud door. And they're like, "Come on!" You're like, "What do you mean, come on? You're letting me go?" And they're like, "Yeah." You just
Right.
this whole thing floods your body, and then right before you get released, they probably put you in this room. And then there's the door that opens
Mhm.
outside, and then the other door closes, and you're in,
Mhm.
you know, and then that door opens, and it's outside. You walk out, and you're like, for you, since you weren't in there and you weren't traumatized, you know, in a sense, you're probably like, oh, you know,
Yeah. I'm going to Cracker Barrel.
yeah, it's probably fucking
Cracker
Yeah.
incredible. I already know.
of
Yeah,
Yeah.
of all the places he could pick. Cracker Barrel? No. That's the bottom of my list. Like their hash brown casserole is pretty good, and actually their fried chicken, not bad. I was pleasantly surprised. But other than that, I honestly don't like their food. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I don't know. I don't even care. Um, I don't know what I would want. What would you want? After what did he say? Is it 2.5 years that he was in prison? What would you want after 2.5 years of eating prison food, which I imagine is something like elementary cafeteria food? Um, hmm. Chick-fil-A would 100% be on the top of the list. And if you don't have a Chick-fil-A where you are, then I'm praying for you. Um, there's a place where I live called Wings Pizza and Things, and they have the most amazing ranch in the world. And their Texas Thai wings, boneless, are just the chef's kiss. So amazing. Um, that's probably the first place I would want to go. Maybe a sourdough jack from Jack in the Box, but Chick Fil A would 100% be on the top of my list.
jail too. I went to jail and they let me out.
Let me know what your first meal after 2.5 years in prison is going to be. Down in the comments. Let me know.
In like 24 hours, 36 hours. I've done that too. I know
Yeah.
that fucking incredible getting out.
So when you got out just now, you're talking about you've got some songs that you've written in your head and on the desk.
Yeah.
Was it hard to get a new record deal? Were you kind of like untouchable, or were they waiting for Ronnie Radke to get out?
They're waiting. They
Yeah.
were they were scared I was gonna. They waited like a month or two to see if I was gonna go straight to drugs, and I didn't.
Right.
Way too traumatized to do drugs. Yeah, right. No way.
Yeah.
Okay, so this like I feel like I'm developing more questions than I'm getting answers. Was he bad on drugs before prison? Was drugs the reason he went to prison? Are they going to go over it in this video and I'm just not giving it time? I don't know.
Drink beer because it helped my. I thought it would help my anxiety. It helped, but it just made it worse every morning. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
But
my god, I feel that so hard right now. Like I really now cut back tremendously. I definitely have gone through a rough battle with like mental health and stuff, and I have really bad ADHD, and it affects my life in more ways than I could ever really tell you. Um, and a lot of people think like ADHD is a myth, but it's not, and it's not even a deficit. It's a shitty name for what it is. It's a dysregulation. Um, ADHD neuro spicy brains do not produce enough like things like serotonin and dopamine, which are your happy hormones. And so constant struggle with depression, constant struggle with living in your own head. The voices are real. They're not, I mean, they might be multiple personalities. Who knows? But for the most part, it has a lot more to do with just being dysregulated and constantly feeling like you're in a state of unrest. It honestly feels like a prison at times.
yeah, it was the same label that I went in with, and they.
Again, ADHD, lost train of thought. But I used to I've constantly turned to alcohol um, to cope with a lot of that stuff. So I get what he's saying.
We just kind of immediately I went to Florida and made my first album. And it was a huge album too. Drug Me As You. It was very big. It did very
big,
well. Yeah. For the time, it
That
did
was in
well.
2011.
Yeah.
Is that right?
You made it with Elvis too, right? With Mike
Yeah.
Basquette. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was he working with knowing what you had just gone through? Was he a guy that you had known before?
I've known he's the reason I got signed because he did my first demo and he did my Escape the Fate album too.
Gotcha.
He did my demo. My demo sounded so good back then. So the label's like, who the hell did this? All the other demos sound like crap in all the bands. And this one sounded like high produced. So the label was instantly interested, you know. So I knew him in Vegas. We did a lot of never mind. Actually, we had a lot of fun. We did. We had a lot of fun for sure. But that was a long time ago. But yeah, he understood. It was still hard. Oh man, I was so messed up. Getting out of prison and making an album. You know, I had to stay in a little hotel. I was comfortable inside a hotel. I didn't want to leave. You know,
because it was a smaller room. Maybe you had smaller.
I just had so much anxiety, dude, around people. People made me nervous. Their facial expressions would make me nervous. I'm completely not like that anymore. Like I could be in large groups. I can have conversations with anybody now, but not then. I had full meltdowns. I couldn't be with more than one person at a time. If there was two people in the room, it made me feel very crazy.
Really? Wow. Yeah.
Social anxiety, insane, man.
I wonder if he developed the social anxiety literally from being in prison than getting out, as opposed to I wonder if he dealt with social anxiety before he went into prison.
It's interesting because you're the front man of a rock and roll band, which means when you're on stage, you got to be the party host and the focus of everyone's attention. That was fine.
Yeah, that was fine. Bizarre because it was loud. I was protected by how loud it was. You know, it was usually when it got really quiet, because in prison, if it got really quiet, something really bad was going to happen. You could tell because it would get really quiet and I'd be like, is it me? I'd be like, hey, what's happening right now? They're like, oh, so-and-so is going to, I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, are you telling me the truth right now?
Yeah.
For real.
I want to know why he blacked out his tattoos. Does anybody know? I thought his tattoos were really sick. I have ink myself. I got but I really thought his tattoos were sick. So I'm curious as to know what the blackout is. I don't know. Are you trying? Was he trying to? Were those representative of who he was, and this was his way of moving on, covering up that person that you used to be?
You don't know, is someone gonna do something? Right. You know, when it gets really quiet in there, the energy changes. So I think I relate that with when I got out. If it got really quiet, if the room got really quiet, I'm looking around. Especially when people know I went to prison and they just meet me, they're not very loud or like themselves. They're kind of shy or they get quiet and they don't realize that was bad. So it sucked for sure.
Aw, man. Well, okay. Well, that gave me some answers and a whole lot more questions. So it looks like this deep dive into the rabbit hole is going into round 2, and we're about to swan dive, belly flop right into the deep end. All right, guys. So I found a video of Ronnie actually explaining why he went to prison, and I hope this answers at least that question. So, without further ado, we are going to continue this journey. All right, Ronnie, answer my questions.
What I want to tell you guys is I hope that I can be inspiring, because I've been to prison for fucking getting into a fight in the desert that ended in somebody died in that situation. That's not why I went to prison. I went to prison for having brass knuckles in my pocket, guys. I didn't murder somebody. But
Okay.
you know what? If I had the gun in my hand, I'd probably have shot the person too. They were trying to kill us, okay?
Holy shit.
So I hope you would too in a situation like that, right? You have to. You have to defend yourself. Was it right to go to the desert to fight? No, it's probably fucking the dumbest thing I ever did in my life.
Wait, did they pull a Grease? Where were they like a gang fight, but like glam rock gang fight? Why does everything I watch provide me with more questions?
Okay, but you know what? I had to defend
But I want to know, why did you have brass knuckles? Like, who has brass knuckles? Do people really have brass knuckles? I thought that only happened in movies.
my friend's honor, and that's what I would always do. That's what got me in the most trouble is fucking fighting and defending my friends. But anyways,
Well, at least he's a
I
loyal
went
one.
to prison. You know what I mean? I got out, suffered post-traumatic stress disorder from being in such a dangerous position in prison for such a long time. If you've never been to prison or never been to Iraq, then you're not going to understand what I
Wait,
mean.
did he go to Iraq? I'm gonna write that down on the list of more questions.
Being stuck in a place where you feel like your life's on the line the entire time.
So maybe he's just talking about going to war.
The energy that gets sucked out of you for years, it's like crazy. Like you're in a situation where at any time somebody could fucking kill you, right? Because it's so dangerous. But so that post-traumatic stress comes from that. And that's the reason why maybe I got in a lot of trouble when I got out of prison by doing stupid shit, by throwing microphones and fucking talking shit on Twitter and being just an all-around
Was he in the military?
rock star. Fucking Axl Rose or some shit. I don't know. But I hope I can inspire you guys. For reals. All
Aw.
I do is I make cool backgrounds. I make cool sub-alerts. I give away cool stuff. I talk directly to you. And I stream. I play video games, you know? And I tour the world. And I write music that you guys relate to. Okay?
He does do that.
So when people try to disrespect me on Twitter, I'm going to tell you right now, these motherfuckers haven't seen the shit I've seen. I've seen people get stabbed in the fucking throat in prison, in a riot,
No wonder you have
in
PTSD.
a race war. That's the reason why I fucking hate racists. That's why I hate Nazis. That's why I don't fuck with the Nazis. Because
That's good.
prison
Fucking
is
with
driven
Nazis
off
is
of
definitely bad.
racism.
Racism is bad.
It's fucking crazy in there.
Yeah, I bet.
And I had to sit there and not speak or speak out of turn or I'd be next. You
Oh
know?
shit.
So I want you guys to understand that I've had a crazy life and I'm all fun. It's all fun and games, but like I have seen some crazy ass shit, man. I've seen people get stabbed in the throat. I've seen fucking people get shot.
What
I've
is
seen
that
some crazy
inflatable
shit.
cow?
It's not
Horse.
fun. I don't recommend it. Okay? Why did you give me pizza? Scarlett, all right. You doing the hunter bomb for a guitar? I got PTSD from 2 combat deployments. Speedy, I understand.
Oh,
understand.
no, not him. I thought he had 2 combat
exactly,
deployments.
But I went to prison.
Yeah,
and
combat
that's a
deployments will
combat
100% do that to you.
deployment, right? Do you agree? Do you understand what I mean? Some people go to Iraq, and just because they don't see anybody get shot. They don't see anybody explode.
Stop gifting subs so I can hear what he has to say, you tards.
The fear that they have gives you PTSD, you know? Yeah, I understand. Why did you give me pizza? How many more are left? What's that, 3? You got 7 more. 4 minutes, guys.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I'm never doing this again. Post-traumatic stress sucks, man.
It does.
When I went to prison, I was incarcerated for 2.5 years. I spent the first half of my sentence in general population with all the people, with everyone.
Gen Pop is tough.
I was involved, not involved. I was in the middle of a race riot between the blacks and the Mexicans. The whites had to stay out of it. We weren't allowed to help.
We weren't allowed to help.
And if you are in a race riot and your race is fighting another race, you have to help. Even if you don't want to, you have to help. Because if you don't, then they will hurt you. Then your race will hurt you for not helping.
Holy shit.
But thankfully, the
It's like
whites
straight up
weren't in it,
Divergent,
and
but
we just laid down while they
races
did it,
instead
and
of like
there was
way of life.
shotguns going. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I just want to remind you guys that what life can do. It's crazy, man. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get any sympathy or anything like that. I'm just trying to make you guys understand and make you aware. Try to remind you. Especially people that don't know my past.
That's what I'm here to find
The
out.
guards are just watching. No, the guards have shotguns. And in the shotguns, the bullets in the shotguns are called bird shots. They have salt rocks in them. It's what you use to shoot birds like little quails and stuff when you go hunting. Okay? But they use them because they're less lethal than actual slugs.
That makes
So
sense.
they can shoot from a distance and the salt will hit your skin and it'll fucking hurt and it'll burn and you'll lay the fuck down if you get shot. They were shooting. Let me explain to you how loud a shotgun blast is in a fucking prison, inside of a prison cell block. Bouncing off all the cement walls. I can't fucking tell you enough.
All right, so we got a few answers and a few more questions, but I feel like slowly but surely we're getting there. So somebody did die, but it wasn't for murder. It was for brass knuckles, which I can't believe he had brass knuckles. Straight up grease gangster over here. I want to know what led to the fight, though. What led to the fight? Why did they go to the desert of all places? Like, yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to know more. Like, I feel like it'll give better context to the songs for sure. So, all right. Well, the journey down the Ronnie Radke rabbit hole continues. Stay tuned because we're not just going to swan dive belly flop into the next one. We're going to straight up double tuck pirouette crisp high five slap you on the ass in the next one. Peace out.